Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press, and good afternoon, party faithfuls and other women and progressive men here present, and of course, my able, great women of our party and of this country. Ladies and gentlemen, the Women's Wing of the National Democratic Congress extends its thanks to you for your presence here today to present our position in respect of the appalling submissions made by the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, at a recent gender conference, Women Deliver 2019, held in Vancouver, Canada. The NDC's Women's Wing joined the totality of women and progressive men in Ghana in expressing our shock, disbelief, and revulsion at comments made by our president at the event. Ladies and gentlemen, the extent of national and international embarrassment we now face as a nation is magnified not only because our president is supposed to be an award-winning gender activist, but it's also made all the more alarming by the fact that the Women Deliver 2019 International Gender Conference is the largest conference on gender equality, the health, rights, and well-being of girls and women in the 21st century. It is nothing short of monumental disgrace to find that as the rest of the world and its leaders are tapping into and celebrating more gender inclusiveness, our president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is reinforcing stereotypes regarding women's participation in leadership that have long been abandoned. That global platform would have been a glorious opportunity to project the great exploits and strength of the Ghanaian women's unique social, cultural, corporate, and political leadership skills. We would have hoped that at best, it would have been a tremendous opportunity for President Akufo-Addo to showcase the contributions of successive governments in appointing capable women to positions of leadership and responsibility in this country's history. Indeed, a worst-case scenario would have been to highlight his own efforts and his administration to enhance women empowerment in Ghana. It is pathetic to see that all President Akufo-Addo could do was to feign ignorance about the implicit role required by men to create opportunities without apology for capable Ghanaian women and close the massive gender gaps that are doing nothing to move development in this country forward. The focus of this gender dialogue, which took place under the banner Women Deliver, could not have been more apt, for the inspiring success stories of women all over the globe in various fields of endeavor speak audibly about how inspirational women have contributed to world progress. However, as the world continues to celebrate women, the President of Ghana thinks otherwise of Ghanaian women. And on that occasion, President Akufo-Addo did not clothe the Ghanaian woman in any glory at all. Having been given a major opportunity on a global stage to project the great exploits and strength of the Ghanaian woman, and to further elaborate on what measures his administration is adopting to enhance women empowerment in Ghana, President Akufo-Addo did not hesitate to run down the Ghanaian woman in the most debasing manner on a global stage. Friends from the media, When asked about the state of women empowerment in Ghana, these were the exact words of President Akufo-Addo. And I quote, "The most important thing is power. But Ghanaian women have not shown enough dynamism and activism to deserve a place on the decision-making table," unquote. As if the above words were not condescending and insulting enough, the president further declared boldly that, and I quote, "Not enough movement has been made by women in Ghana." Ladies and gentlemen, as you can clearly see, the world was not invited by President Akufo-Addo to recognize the excellence of Ghanaian female leadership, because according to our own president, Ghanaian women have done very little to deserve a place in national decision making. What a travesty. Clearly, President Akufo-Addo was clueless and uninformed. He displayed next to no knowledge about the subject, and even when he was prompted by one of his female co-panelists, who strenuously sought to correct his prosperous misinterpretations on that platform, he touted his half-baked free senior high school as a gender empowerment tool of his government and lied about 30% of his cabinet female appointees. Our painstaking investigations have revealed that out of 19 cabinet ministers, only 5 of them are women, which represent 26% of cabinet and not 30%, as he claimed. How could the president get this basic fact wrong? Could it be part of his mere lip service and rhetoric about women empowerment? Ladies and gentlemen, President Akufo-Addo's remarks have caused irreparable damage to the reputation of the Ghanaian woman. Global news networks such as BBC and others have amplified the views of our president, thereby escalating the shame and embarrassment that these comments have brought to all women in Ghana. Perhaps the most debilitating effect of our president's reckless talk is that those comments have made to the age-old struggle for female empowerment in Ghana. Elsewhere, such comments from President Akufo-Addo could kill the spirit and soul of gender empowerment activism. However, the tsunami of voices of protestation from Ghanaian women demonstrates that we are well past being cowed into accepting such verbal abuse as women and as key players in our national development journey. Distinguished friends from the media, to imagine that the above comments reflect the inner thinking of President Akufo-Addo on Ghanaian women is frightening to say the least, because the Bible says, in the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Gender mainstreaming has assumed a global center stage for years now. Since the 4th Women Conference held in Beijing, 1995, which focused on action for equality, development, and peace, a lot of work has been done in Ghana by successive governments and gender activists to achieve gender equality. And I think when you look behind me, we can see Honorable Oyeluta. Therefore, for President Akufo-Addo to suggest that the 51.2% of women in Ghana have achieved nothing in terms of activism or advocacy to merit a place on the decision-making table is more disappointing and a colossal embarrassment. We wish to remind the President, Mr. Akufo-Addo, that Ghana continues to celebrate her illustrious female heroes, such as Yasantua, that great warrior, Dr. Mary Grant, Hajia Adiza Monkaila, Madame Susanna Al-Hassan, Theodosia Okoye, Esther Oklu, Professor Efua Sutherland, Professor Ama Ata Edu, among others. Ghana has had a female speaker before in the person of the Right Honorable Joyce Bamford Addo of Parliament, and 2 successive female Chief Justices, Her Ladyship Georgina Theodora Wood and Her Ladyship Sophia Akufu. An endless list of contemporaries such as Professor Jane Nana Upokua Jeman, Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu, Honorable Merita Brew Apia Opon, Honorable Hannah Tete, Dr. Joyce Ayi, Mrs. Charlotte Osei, Mrs. Lucy Quest, Mrs. Patricia Obonai, and Mrs. Mawena Treba, to name but very few, who have all staked a rightful claim to national and historical prominence as trailblazers in female leadership in this country. Is President Akufo-Addo suggesting in any way that these illustrious women and the millions of others out there have not done enough to deserve a place in the decision-making table? Is he suggesting that these great women, not excluding his own wife, Her Excellency Rebecca Akufo-Addo, Chief of Staff Madam Akosua Frema Opare, and his 5 daughters did not rise to their status by dint of hard work or advocacy? That's a question. I leave this judgment to the Ghanaian people. It is sad to underscore the fact that President Akufo-Addo has reinforced the sense of patriarchy that is already entrenched in the Ghanaian society. Rural women in Ghana are the fulcrum of the rural economy. Women in Ghana have defied all odds to achieve great heights in the areas of science, technology, engineering, politics, education, mathematics, amongst many others. And of course, when you go to the market, we are there. When you go to the streets, we are there. Anywhere that you want to see work moving women, we are there. We are also very good farmers. It is therefore unfortunate that President Akufo-Addo could not elevate and celebrate Ghanaian women on an international platform, but rather sought to talk down to us. If anyone ever doubted that President Akufo-Addo cared less about women, then one should observe this nonchalant posture on the matter of the 3 missing Takoradi girls. Despite all public outcry and subsequent comedy of errors by state security actors, President Akufo-Addo has remained unperturbed about this disturbing occurrence and not even made a formal public statement on the matter. At this point, we wish to also state that a press conference that we held on Mother's Day, we are about culminating with the collection of the signatures, and so wish to also point out to His Excellency the President that we are not backing off. We will bring the petitions as we stated, and we will go international, and we go to all the various diplomatic communities in our country. We wish to remind President Akufo-Addo that women and the girl child still face real challenges in Ghana today. Many young girls are still being harassed, whilst many of them stay out of school due to unavailability of sanitary pads. We all remember when the former president had a program of sanitary pads for our girls. Sometimes when we still live in the comforts of air-conditioned homes and our Land Cruisers, we do not know the real hazards that our girl child goes through in our rural communities. An intervention his party ridiculed under his leadership when they were in opposition. Many women still suffer sexual harassment in their workplaces, while several others have their promotions delayed for unjustifiable reasons beyond their refusal to give in to unwarranted sexual advances and other forms of intimidation directed at women. These are the issues we expected President Akufo-Addo to address on such an important platform. Mr. President, what the Ghanaian woman deserves is equal opportunity and a level playing field to realize her God-given capabilities. We, the women of Ghana, are not calling for sympathy or opportunities to be handed to us simply because we are women. No. We deserve equity and fairness, Mr. President. We were created with the inner strength and ability to compete, and provided where there are no artificial barriers in our way. And Mr. President, if you want to know the inner strength with which we were created, maybe you want to talk to the mothers of your 5 girls. What we go through every month, what we go through 9 months, what your mother went through 9 months to deliver you, what she went through, Mr. President, to breastfeed you, what she went through, Mr. President, to train you, to bring you up for today, for you to become the president of this great nation. Mr. President, you were born out of a woman. Everywhere else in the world, countries interested in progress for their people are holding the doors wide open for excellent women to lead. It makes good business sense, good social sense, and good development sense. Perhaps it is well past time for you to wake up to that reality if you are genuinely interested in seeing this country move forward. Mr. President, we implore you, Mr. President, we implore you, Mr. President, and I take it again, pardon me, we implore you to rid yourself of those prehistoric ideas about women's participation in leadership and start to act like you know we can be powerful partners in moving this country forward for both men and women. Mr. President, you have embarrassed Ghanaian women in no uncertain terms on a global stage. You have insulted us, Mr. President. You need to redeem yourself and render an unqualified apology. First of all, Mr. President, with the greatest respect to your mother, if mommy or grandma is still alive, you owe her an apology. If she's not, Mr. President, wherever you let her to rest in peace, may she continue to rest in perfect peace. But you need to go there and render her the first apology. Mr. President, your second apology should be in the bedroom. When you go to the bedroom with the First Lady, Her Excellency Rebecca Akufo-Addo, go on your knees and render an apology to the First Lady of our country. Mr. President, when you have finished with all that, then you come and you render an unqualified apology to all the women folk in Ghana. And you also will have to extend it to every well-meaning living being on the surface of this earth who believes that women are also human beings, that we are capable and able. The earlier you do this, Mr. President, the better for your already dwindled reputation. We also call on the general public to use this event as a starting point to discuss and put forth ideas to improve gender balance. Even if our president does not believe that women deliver, we do. Mr. President, before I conclude, we are challenging you, Mr. President, to put forth your academic credentials, the grades with which you graduated, your thesis document. We are going to mention very few of the Ghanaian women who have made it through the universities, who are achieving it in life. They will also make their grades, their academic credentials, and probably their thesis documents available for the general public to see. Mr. President, Lawyer Barbara Samoa, she's a former deputy minister, and she's a current deputy secretary of the Ndc, the largest opposition party, of which I'm their national women's organizer. Mr. President, Lawyer Marita Brew, Lawyer Betty Moore, Lawyer Oyelucha, Professor Nana Jenkoko, my good self, Dr. Hannah Bisiu, Honorable Hannah Tete, Lawyer Joyce Bauer, Honorable Mona Kote, Honorable Valerie Sawyer, and one more who made us proud, Right Honorable Joyce Bamford Addo, and one more Sherry Ayete, and Madame Mawina Treba, Madame Jifa Gomonji, Madame Jifa Atiwo, and Honorable Doyo Ada MP. Mr. President, these women in Ghana, we are going to put forth our academic credentials, the grade with which we graduated, our thesis documents, and we are challenging you, Mr. President, who says that there is no woman capable, able in Ghana to sit around a decision-making position. Mr. President, you are the first gentleman of our country, so you make decisions for us. So we want to know your academic credentials, and we are going to compare it to our own. At this juncture, I just want to say a very big thank you. May God bless the Ghanaian women, and may God bless our homeland Ghana. I thank you all for your kind attention.